Well, hey YouTube, it's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, today I wanted to do a quick video on something kind of fascinating to me. Something that I've never gotten into myself, but has always fascinated me. And that is creating our own jackets with 22 long rifle brass casings. Now we shoot these things and we have them laying around, and we can do something with them. Like for instance, make, in this case, this is a 55 grain bullet 223. I'm gonna let you see this thing. It's pretty fascinating the way this is designed. I want you to see the tip of this bullet. This is the overall view. This is the base, and you can see it makes like a boat tail. Well, it is a boat tail. Has a kind of a unique look to it, of course. I want you to try to see the very tip of this bullet, because it's significant. Has a little tiny, see that little tiny flat spot on the very tip of this, bullet. Now these bullets were sent to me by one of our own viewers. He goes by the handle Psyko Klown, and many of you have seen him, you know, in the comment section commenting or whatever. But Psyko Klown sent me these bullets. I appreciate that, Psyko Klown. Thank you very much. Whenever you made me the offer to send me these bullets, I was kind of excited, because I was always fascinated by these cases by these jackets that we can make. So we're making do-it-yourself full metal jackets. Well, Psyko Klown used a swaging process made by BT Sniper, and I will put a link. I have no connection to BT Sniper at all, but I will put a link in the description on some way to get a hold of him. I don't know whether it might be his Facebook page or you know, a YouTube channel or something. I'll put in there, you know, so you can look this stuff up if you're interested. But BT Sniper makes a swaging die set to turn these 22 long rifle cases into beautiful bullets. And I must say, I was very impressed with the design of the bullet and the way they shoot and the way they load. Now these bullets in particular were designed after, the 52 to 77 grain Match King. So the exact nose profile of that bullet is how. Oh. So I dropped another bullet. So the exact nose profile is what it was designed after, the Sierra Match King bullet right there. So anyway, so what I done was, you know, I made up a couple of different loads and shot them on a target, shot them into ballistic gelatin. Psyko Klown wanted me to take a look at these bullets, see what I thought of them, and kind of report back to him on what everything looked like, especially in the ballistic gelatin. So you know, one of the things that he was concerned with was, you know, how they, you know, when I showed you this bullet tip, I wanted you to see the bullet tip, because the lead that was swaged into this jacket is even with the tip, it kind of acts like a hollow point bullet. Well, it does. It does act like a hollow point bullet, and I'll show you that in a minute. So anyway, so here's what happened. Here's how it works. Sort of, kind of the quick synopsis. So these are lead cores that are cast, and then these cast cores are swaged into the .22 long rifle case, and it's made into a bullet. That's the quick synopsis, right? And the one I just stuck to one bullet in my testing, so you know, so that I could spend more quality time. But you know, he also sent me some 55 grain. This bullet was used. The cores, the lead cores, was used. Was cast with rain scrap, non-water quenched rain scrap. I did test the hardness of the cores that he sent me, and they're around 6 BHN. And he also made some 55 grain out of plumber's lead, and also he wanted to see what the difference was between using the plumber's lead versus the rain scrap lead. He sent me some 65 grain and some 69 grain. This is what a 69 grain bullet looks like. It looks like a soft point because obviously the .22 long rifle case, you know, is not long enough, so the lead protrudes out of the tip. And you can see it's beautifully done. That's a 69 grain. Now, you know, ideally, I think he would rather use your .22 Magnum or 17 HMRs to make, you know, like 77 grain bullets, that kind of thing. So I'm going to send him a big bag here of .22 Magnums and 17 HMRs, so that he can experiment with the larger bullets, you know, with full cases. So I didn't shoot. My only concern with the with this large soft point is that, you know, that soft lead could get damaged, you know, using our very aggressive loading semi-autos and that kind of thing. So that was my only concern with that, although I have not shot these yet. So anyway, let me give the specs on what I found. Very interesting results. You know, beautifully done bullets. You know, the BT Sniper swaging process, in my opinion, you know, did a wonderful job. And Psyko Klown, you done a wonderful job putting these together. Very consistent weights, unbelievably consistent weights. It's nothing to reach in there, and they're exactly 55 grains. So what I done is I made up, I used 2 different powders. I used Hodgson's Benchmark and IMR 4895. That was the 2 powders that I chose to play with. And this is, let me show you the target that I have. Let's see. So my first target, I was out at the range plinking. This was just 50 yards too, by the way. Okay, with 3 power scope, you know, and just plinking. So what I wanted to do is, this was my, I used 24 grains of IMR 4895 at 2,600 feet per second. You know, obviously that was a little low, you know, velocity, but that was this was a plinking load that I made up, and I didn't fine tune it at all. But I wanted you to really see how straight they shoot, nice holes. This was total plinking, not aiming, you know, trying to get in there good. But I also wanted you to see, you know, what I was shooting at the same time with using the 62 grain green tips that we get. You know, that's our military load, green tips, and that's what that target looked like. So I just kind of wanted to compare, wanted you to see, you know, plinking versus plinking, and then that wasn't my favorite load, although you know, in my opinion, it looks like most of your bulk ammo that you can buy, you know, in full metal jackets and that kind of thing, you know, it looked like the load shot just as good. I'll just throw that out there. It looked like it was on par with most of what you would buy, you know, factory ammo. And then I shot, I made up the load with the benchmark, and I did a little better job of trying to get a group just so you can see. And I'm using my my BuckeyeTargets.com. I appreciate Travis Buck sending me these targets. This right here was the group that I shot. That's a 1 7/8", and I used 25.6 grains of Hodgson's benchmark at 2,850 feet per second. That's the group right there. I just wanted to give something a little more definitive, and I didn't fine tune this load. I didn't use any more powders. I didn't try to. That was, but that was, in my opinion, as good as most of your bulk ammo does. Okay, for sure. But anyway, that was my favorite load that I loaded with the time that I had. And that was 2,850 feet per second with the benchmark. You know, done a great job. Now let's talk about what happened in the ballistic gelatin, because this is what a lot of people, I think, want to know about this swaging process. You know, in this case, the BT sniper swaging process. There's several out there, or at least a few out there, people making these up and selling them, these swaging dyes and that kind of thing. But the BT sniper seems to be pretty popular. So here's what I come up with. My 24 grains, let's see, I got it wrote down here. 24 grains of IMR 4895 at 2,600 feet per second. I shot round into the ballistic gelatin, and it started out as a 55 grain bullet, and after I recovered the bullet, it had a retention of 51.9 grains, so it didn't lose much at all. Just you know, kind of shed some sweat, I guess. But this is the bullet at 2,600 feet per second. It looks very good, and we know, I'm going to show you this while I'm talking, and we know that, you know, speed isn't always the best thing. Obviously, when you slow things down a little bit, sometimes you can get more penetration. These are all things that we've learned here on the channel. So, you know, depending on the distance of your target, you know, in order to customize a bullet, you know, if you had a specific distance and a specific target, hard target, soft target, kind of thing, we would change our load completely, right? So I'm just throwing that out there, but that was that is a awesome expansion. And we'll just put that up against the dime, just so you can see. There it is. Great expansion, great expansion. So that was the slower of the loads, right, at 2,600 feet per second. And now the next load that I shot was 25.6 grains of benchmark. That was kind of the maximum in the Lee handbook for a 55 grain generic bullet. That's really so that's kind of why I just stuck to that. The brass all look good in these loads. This is the brass. Nothing to speak of. And the other thing to note is when I got these bullets, a little note for Psyko Klown, when I got these bullets, the diameter was 0.225, and when I began the loading process, I noticed what seemed to be, I was getting some you know, some signs of pressure a little early on. Nothing to speak of, but it just seemed a little early to see any signs of pressure at all, so I went ahead and sized them to 0.224, and after I did that, I had no issue, no issue at all, and that's just in my experimenting here with them. So I was just throwing that out there. I went ahead and just run them through the sizer 224, and I had no issue at all. So moving on, the next bullet that I fired was 2,850 feet per second with the 25.6 grains of benchmark using range scrap. Alright, and I fired 2 rounds of that one because I destroyed one of the bullets pulling it out of the gel. This was it right here. I separated the jacket. I really had to do surgery getting this out of there. For some reason I was a little rough on it. So what I thought I would do is I'd go ahead and shoot a second one. Now that one right there, I think I left some behind pulling it out, and the retention of that load was I had about well, let me back up for just 1 second. The first load that I was telling you about with the 24 grains of 48.95, the penetration on it was 12 inches. The wound channel was about 1 inch long, for about 10 inches long, something like that, 9 to 10 inches long. So very good penetration, very good expansion, and looked like a devastating wound channel. So now this one with the benchmark, the second shot that I fired was well, the first one that I just showed you, that I told you I destroyed pulling it out of the ballistic gelatin, was 10.5 inches of penetration, and the retention on that one, I could weigh it, but I got it here. Okay, the retention on that one was 34.6 grains, so I really did tear that up. Now the second shot is this one right here, retention of 45.7 grains, and this is what it looked like. I'll hold it up with the dime because I got it all out together like I should have. So again, we have this retention here, very nice, and I'll just turn this around for you, just let you take a look. Very good expansion. Wound channel was approximately 1 inch, wide the permanent wound channel was, and then you know, around 10.5 inches of penetration. And then I changed up loads and put one of these rounds in that he used plumber's lead, because he wanted to know what the difference was between plumber's lead and rain scrap. And then this one, and we got a retention of 53.5 grains, so almost full retention. Nope, I'm wrong. Okay, the plumber's lead was the 51.9 grains. 51.9 grains. The 24 grain bullet was the 53.5 grains of retention. So 51.9 grains of retention. This is what it looks like. Very nice expansion. Good job. And we'll hold it up with the dime. Right there. So good job, Psyko Klown. You know, just I was very impressed with it, with the 3 loads. You know, between the rain scrap and the plumber's lead. I'm not sure how much weight I would put on the test. Obviously, as we know, this is ballistic gelatin that we're shooting it into. So, you know, the real tell is, you know, the target. You know, meat, bone, skin, all of that kind of thing. But if I had these bullets and I was wanting to have a self-defense round, for instance, I would not hesitate at all to use these for self-defense. They do everything that you want them to do and more. That's my opinion on it. Let's see. I think we got through everything. You know, the brass looked good. You know, loading the bullets was, you know, no event at all. Just a great looking bullet and a great performing bullet, and they perform like hollow points. And for people that say they, you know, come apart and disintegrate and whatever else, you know, stories that are being said, I don't know of anything like that. I mean, in my opinion, these are as good as anything that you could buy on the market for hollow points, self-defense in 223. Obviously, we can fine-tune these things by slowing them down, speeding them up, depending on our target, what our target, what we want to target. You know, so I think you can pretty much do anything that you want with these bullets. So, Psyko Klown, I'm gonna get these out to you. You know, I thoroughly impressed with the bullets. I enjoyed testing them, and I will shoot more of these bullets and do some more testing, and either update this channel on the testing if you guys are interested enough in this kind of thing, or at the least I will contact Psyko Klown and let him know what I find with maybe some of these other bullets or anything else that I find with them. So I will put a link to the BT Sniper if you're interested in looking at that sort of thing. Like I said, I have no affiliation at all with BT Sniper, but his swaging process is obviously very good. So I'll leave it at that. YouTube, I'll see you in the next video.